All right, so there's a question about if you're going out with a girl who has a boyfriend and you guys are just going out as friends, or it's kind of undefined, but perhaps you had originally talked to her and it was obvious that you wanted to date, but she still goes out with you anyway. What happens in those situations? How do I bring up the right things? Do I talk about a relationship? Do I not talk about a relationship? Do I, try and get in her pants or whatever? What does this mean? What does this mean? And here is the thing. All right. If a girl that I've hit on tells me she has a boyfriend and then agrees to go out with me when I've obviously been trying to hit on her, it was kind of like I was talking to her or whatever. I said, man, let me have your number. And she's like, I have a boyfriend, but here's my number anyway. Man, I am not going to stop. And I'm not going to stop, not out of disrespect or out of like some, way that is like fooling her or being a dickhead to her. But man, like it's a girl that I think is so hot that I'm going to keep trying, and she can say no and I can respect that. But man, I will tell you this from my experience, any girl that still goes out with me after she's had a boyfriend or said that she has a boyfriend or anything like that, dude, that usually results in sex. That usually results in somebody who's in a deficit of male attention, sexual attention, and needing to feel like she's hot. Man, and it's crazy. And I've been on like so many different sides of this where I've met a girl and she says she has a boyfriend. I say, well, so what? Like, I just want to hang out with you. It's not like a big deal. Obviously, I like you, but I understand what you're saying. I want to see you though. So do you want to see me? If she agrees to that, man, I am like immediately thinking, okay, week, 10 days, I'll get laid. Like it's that simple. If a girl is deciding to put herself in that situation, she's allowing it. Not that she wants this, not that she wants to be an asshole, not that she wants to be a cheater, not that she wants to be a bad person, but that she wants sex and her body needs that. And she wants that sort of attention, wants to know what it's like to make a dude come or to get a guy off or have another man's dick be hard for her. That is something that she needs. If she's somebody that is satisfied by her man, that's not going to be the case. And then if she is still cheating, it's like an emotional thing or whatever that's driving her. But when people are speaking with their bodies, man, that is such a big thing. And it's so obvious. Now, on the flip side to this, if I'm dating somebody and they need to go get laid or whatever, man, it's really interesting, because if you're a dude and your chick is fucking other people and you fight it, and you get pissed off about it, it will cause a breakup or cause her to do it more or cause her to feel shame and make it a secret. But if you want it to stop and you really want to stop and be with this person, let them do it, because then they will stop. And it's a really interesting thing. I get into like the detail of why that happens or why I think that happens and what generally happens in that situation. But man, here's the thing. If a girl does that, and let's say she's with me and she cheats on me and she freaks out and tells me, there's always so much guilt wrapped around it. Okay. There's always so much like, oh my God, and I did this and it was this horrible thing and it just happened and and all this sort of shit. Right. And she says that and it affects me, man. I'm a human being. It like will piss me off, make me upset, make me jealous, make me want to fuck the shit out of her, all this sort of stuff. But man, if she like does that, there's so much of her that is saying like she has to be this bad person for it and she has to go away. She has to break up. She's a terrible person and it's a part of her character and now she won't be able to stop and all this different things. There's all this like guilt that walks in with it. It's crazy, man. And so it's interesting when you actually take that away. Okay. And now you can take it away by just being like, being mad or whatever, or work through it with me or whatever. But, no, man, I understand it. And you got to get some more experience to kind of get this, because if you're just walking into a relationship, it's one thing. But if I set up the relationship and I just say, man, you can do whatever, and you set up whatever rules, I don't want to hear about it. I do want to hear about it, whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, you can do whatever and make your own decisions. And I encourage you to do so. Man, it's fucking crazy. Two things are going to happen. One, she's going to try it eventually. And she may even like it. And that dude may fuck the shit out of her. May fuck the shit out of her better than you could ever imagine. But because you let her, and because you let her make that decision, she is going to come back. And this is the second thing, where she may even get carried away from it. But she will come back and be like, man, I tried to do this with my own decision. It didn't really work out. There was something missing. There was something there that was good, but there's something that was missing that I can't find with you. and I love you now more for it. And this was a crazy thing. I was talking with a buddy of mine today, and we were talking about when you fuck another chick. And man, he brought up some interesting points. Actually, this is pretty fucking awesome. And man, it was pretty fucking awesome. We were talking about having women and staying monogamous with them and how hard it is. And he was like, man, my buddies tell me, and he's monogamous. He's like, my buddies always tell me, like, how do you pass that up? Jesus, how the fuck do you pass that up? And he goes, man, you're asking me such a dumb fucking question. You're asking me such a dumb question. I have a woman that I'm with and we're solid and I love her, but I've had a lot of women in the past, but I have a woman that I'm with and it's fucking like, it's amazing, right? I've had pleasure. I've had like, amazing sex. I still think that chick's ass is hot. I still think that chick's fucking hot and I'd love to fuck her. And it's hard for me. It's fucking difficult. But I know that if I do that, because I know what it's like to have what I have, and I know what it's like to lose what I have, that I know that if I do that, man, it ain't worth the one night. It ain't worth the 5 days, the 10 days of having my dick sucked by a new chick. It ain't worth this small window of time that could potentially fuck me up. And the crazy thing about this is that he said, I could only make that decision when I knew how to have what I have, when I knew how to have what was good. And I was like, man, same thing for me. And he's like, because the craziest thing happens, this is where everybody should pay attention. He's like, what I know, and it was funny because he didn't really talk to me about this a lot, but this is what happens when you have conversations with guys who've been good with women, man. It's really important to have those conversations, because when you have conversations with guys who assume what a dude who's good with women is, or he's just been good with women for like a year or something, or 2 years, it's not enough. He goes, man, every time I cheated on a chick that I was with, I came back, it took the edge off, and I loved her more. It was like, as soon as I fucked that other girl, I was like, totally. As soon as I fucked that other girl, it was like, man, it all became clear. And I was like, man, totally, absolutely. Same thing for me. I try and tell this to everybody. It's the same for women, except there's a little bit more guilt associated with it. Is that, like, I'll be with this girl, like, I'll love her. I'll want to be with her, like all this great stuff. But man, she just weighs on you. She pisses you off. She's a chick. It's a relationship. You're a guy, man. You guys are different. You guys are going to butt heads. The sex isn't as good, like 5 months, 6 months have gone by, 2 years have gone by. It's just not the same thing. It's just not happening. You're like, oh man, you're sitting in bed with her. And you get to that point where you're like, all right, are we going to do this? And you kind of roll over and you stick your dick in her and it's like, whatever sex. And it's shitty, man. It makes you feel shitty going to it. And it's like, what are you holding on to? And then some chick hits on you at a bar, or you're out talking to women and like you see the green light. You see this girl like, hey, yeah, I'm interested in talking to you. And there's all sorts of different ways to do it. You could tell her you're in a relationship, you could lie to her about it or whatever, but however the situation happens, there's all sorts of different ways to do it. However the situation happens, like you're like, you know what? I'm going to fuck this chick. I'm going to like fucking go for it. And then your mind takes over, you get carried away. You're not thinking about your girlfriend. You're not thinking about it. You just like fucking let your body take over, your emotions take over. You fuck this chick. As soon as you blow your load, you're like, I'm done. God, fuck. Whoa, what did I just do? Jesus Christ. Oh man. God, it was good, but it was, and like you brag to your friends or whatever, and the guy way good. But then you come back to your girlfriend and you're like, oh man, wow. I am so happy to have you. This is great. Like, let me see your body again. Like everything comes to life that you thought was dead. And you can't imagine this. You have to experience, like everything comes back to life. And it's the fucking coolest thing. It's the greatest thing, man. When you start, feeling sex with somebody else, when you've been kind of bound or compartmentalized, like all the shit which was good in your first 2, 3, 4 months of your relationship comes back. It's fucking amazing. Plus, it's more emotional and you connect because you've been with this person for a long time. Now, that being said, me knowing that, why decide not to do that now? And this could change. I'm only a human being. But it's like, fuck. I know what it's like to lose love. I know what it's like to have a lot of fucking sex and fuck a lot of chicks and have a lot of fun times and all that sort of stuff. And I've done it so much because, man, it's sex. It like blinds you. It's crazy. Like it's always good. But I've done it to so much excess, like repetitiously, to realize in the long run, it's not good. You get kind of hammered with it, where today, at least today, I could make that decision and go like, you know what? It's probably not worth it. And this is very important when it comes to like success in all things, right? Because you got to know how to have, okay? Saving money means nothing unless you've saved money and lost it. Any moral choice that you have, like honesty or acceptance or, whatever, forgiveness, means nothing unless you've had it and lost it. It's so important for you to know what the value is of having something through experience and losing that thing and working back to get it. Because once you get there, then you can make a much more clear decision of what the actual scales are, and you can choose so much. It's the greatest fucking thing. Man, I'll tell you this, but anytime like I'm with a girl and she gets like a little bit sexually anxious and she starts saying she's going to like go fuck somebody else, I'll just be like, man, go do it. Like, dude, and actually here's the fucking pimp thing. If you really want to like get into some like crazy like dynamics of sex and relationships, tell them to do it and tell them you're not going to fuck them until they've done it like X amount of times. So yeah, well, whatever. If you want to go fuck, whoever, I think that's going to work for you, man. It's like, we're done. We don't even need to have a relationship. Like, you know what? I won't talk to you until you fuck 10 dudes. And man, if they do that, those chicks will be with you for life. With you. It's fucking crazy, man. Girls like that, man, it's crazy. Like they'll still talk to me years later where I had that sort of dynamic with them. And it's just the craziest fucking thing in the world. So I don't know, man. Sex is an interesting thing. You've got to experience it to really get your finger on it. And it's your choice of how far you want to take it down the rabbit hole. I always like went pretty far, but that's why I'm here to tell you about it. So you don't have to do it. But if you do, man, we can have a really, really amazing dialogue about it. I mean, like being monogamous or any of that stuff, it's fucking hard. It's a hard thing to do. But the reason why I do it is because it's a true choice of what I have today. In fact, that inspires me to talk about something else, but I'll pause the fucking video and feed off of that a little bit.